Today we're chatting with Chandrashekar, otherwise known as LSP. He is a Zoho evangelist committing to creating and spreading awareness and empowerment through their offerings. And wow, the insights he provides around automation, social development, remote work, and upgrading to power tools will be worth it alone. But today, in this exclusive interview, they'll be sharing some early thoughts and returns from their national survey that will both confirm and surprise our assumptions. LSP cut his teeth in the software development space of Zoho and has journeyed with the company at its crucial pivot points. LSP is based out of Montreal and holds a master's degree in information systems and applications. A newly released survey by Zoho Corporation has revealed a surprising amount of growth among Canadian businesses in 2021, despite the extreme challenges of navigating the pandemic. As the majority of the respondents indicated, they experienced year-over-year growth in 2021. The survey, which queried 500 business owners across Canada, found that 72% of businesses had year-over-year growth in 2021 and even said they had higher hopes in 2021 and even had higher hopes for what 2022 represents. With 50 plus apps in nearly every major business category, including sales, marketing, customer support, accounting, and back office operations, an array of productivity and collaboration tools, Zoho Corporation is one of the world's most prolific technology companies. LSP, it's been at least a year, I think, since the last time we were able to connect and chat. How are you?
Doing great, Shiraz, and thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, it's been a long time since we connected. Great conversations in the past. Look forward to this one as well.
Absolutely excited about the content that you're going to be sharing with us, especially the survey that Zoho undertook and brought to the market for a greater and deeper understanding, not because you say so, but because the collective voice of medium-sized businesses in Canada have spoken. So really excited to hear, well, for our audience to hear what thoughts their peers are holding and the sentiment they have towards the market. But before we begin, I have to ask, San Francisco, are you serious? A wonderful place. Why are you repping San Francisco today? Tell us the story, LSP.
A simple story. This is the first city that I've ever set foot on outside of India for the first time I ever left the country.
Okay.
The place that I landed was in San Francisco, and definitely a special city in its own way. Great food, great sushi. Come on, who doesn't like San Francisco?
You know what? I was with you until you said sushi. Actually, sushi's okay. Sashimi, questionable. But let's focus, Shiraz. Here we go. See, full disclosure for our audience, I have to tell you that, do you remember those commercials for the hair club and people were getting plugs in their hair and they would say, not only am I the president, but I'm a client? Well, I have full disclosure, folks. Not only am I a fan of what Zoho does, I'm actually a client. I've had the opportunity to go through their full suite. You're going to hear a little bit about Zoho One in a little bit. A fantastic, completely undervalued. I think you guys should charge twice as much as what you charge, but don't charge it yet. Wait for everybody to sign up first and then raise your price. Just the value that you get from Zoho is unbelievable. And again, full disclosure, I'm a user and a fan of what Zoho does. So can you tell us in a nutshell, what is Zoho?
Zoho or Zoho One?
Let's start there. Zoho, then Zoho One.
So let's start with Zoho. I think that's where the whole idea of the philosophy behind the business will kind of come to light. So Zoho is a bootstrapped company. It's a private company. We've been in business for 25 years. It's one of the tech industry's best kept secrets until recent times, where we have kind of gotten in a lot more awareness across the globe, and we are getting into that place in the larger enterprises and mid markets as well. Overall, it's a very stable company with over 70 million users who are using one of the other offerings that Zoho has. So, from a offer perspective, Zoho does software as a service. We offer solutions for every aspect of a business: sales, marketing, HR, finance, low code, business intelligence, productivity and collaboration, the whole shooting match. And we go really deep in each one of them. And Shiraz, you know how deep we go. I mean, having worked with you in the past and looking at what you do in your business, we have gone through those aspects.
Mhm.
But Zoho One, we call that the operating system for business. Think of that as the easy button. Think of that as walking into Home Depot and buying a DeWalt kit, right? It has a hammer. It has a, it has a screwdriver. It has a wrench. It has a drill. It has the whole shooting match. Depending on what you want to do, you basically take that tool and start running it or start using it in the same way. Here, that's the idea.
Thank you. And well, I one of the things that is in that toolkit that I've appreciated and benefited the most from, and that's the sentiment behind what tools are in the kit in Zoho One. And that's simply the fact that it's not something that you say at Zoho. You literally believe that you exist to empower small and medium businesses.
Hands down.
A part of that, you took the time as an organization to do this in-depth study of the marketplace to measure sentiment, to find out what the feeling is having gone through this last year and a half, almost 2 years of life, this cloud that has covered and hung over us longer than perhaps most of us thought it would last. If you were to highlight a couple of key thoughts, what would you say really jumped out? So number one, what really jumped out at you and what was confirmed for you in your mind?
The first one that jumped out at us was how the mid-market or medium-sized businesses in Canada are thinking about their business, right? There is a whole lot, like almost 80% or 70%, 78% of businesses are positive and they have grown during the pandemic, right?
Okay.
And a good 80% are feeling positive about their business moving on. Now, one of the things that confirmed the so-called perception that what digital transformation did not do, or all the analysts or the big firms could not do in 15 years in talking about digital transformation, COVID did that in a span of 1 year, in a span of 12 months, right? That digital transformation part, it kind of cemented or confirmed that it has really helped businesses to grow and stay and move on. And what has also happened in that is one of the questions that we've asked is where they are in their digital transformation. A good 60% of the businesses are in advanced or intermediate stage of digitizing their business, which is huge. In the last 12 months, I think that's one of the things that has kind of propelled a lot of things in terms of businesses growing, the optimism, and having the tools to operate despite the limitations that we were suddenly forced to, embrace.
It's interesting. I have that very stat from your survey and your research right in front of me. It was actually 66.3% of businesses are at that intermediary or advanced level. There's a saying how necessity is the mother of all invention, right?
That's right.
And in this season, how needy have we all become and dependent on technology? Also found that necessity, not only the mother of all invention, but it's the necessity is the invention of implementation. Folks have known that these tools exist. Why didn't we need to? We all know why we didn't need to. Why wasn't there an urgency to implement what we already knew could be beneficial?
I think a very simple way to kind of talk to that point, Shiraz, is why fix what's not broken? If things were working as they were, right, it's status quo. It did not affect the fact that you could not collaborate or do your video conferencing or do your interviews that way you're doing right now over Zoom. It really did not matter. We could travel, we could meet people, and you could go into the office every day. The whole collaboration aspect of business was never challenged. Yes, in terms of how you maintain the systems of records, how do you maintain the system of insights mattered because you had all these tools in different parts of the business. But then getting a remote workforce to operate together and then bringing in these business applications to work in that context, nobody even thought about it. But then we just had to face this reality and we started to fix that problem. And in that whole process, we have truly seen enormous cloud adoption. Because
Okay,
think about this. We talk about digital transformation in two aspects. One is the adoption of cloud itself. A lot of people call that, in a certain context, digital transformation, because you're moving away from the homegrown solutions or the on-prem solutions. Because today, if you did not have these applications on the cloud, there was no way you could connect to your bookkeeping application that was running on, let's say, an Excel or a Visual Basic application on a desktop in your office.
Okay, so
How do you run your business?
I like what you're doing. You're defining what digital transformation is. As you know, it's one of those terminologies that, it could be defined dependent on who the definer is, right? So in your terms, in your world, dealing with so many different industries, so many different verticals globally, how would you define for the average medium-sized business what it means to undergo digital transformation?
I think there are two layers to it. The first one is the kind of, are you using modern tools to run your business? So when I talk about modern tools, then you're talking about adopting cloud-based technologies or SaaS-based applications to run your business. So that is one aspect. You could still be a company that's using tools to run your business, to automate your workflows and optimize your business workflows and processes. But you could be using archaic tools. So the use of tools to automate your business, that is in a lot of places where you're just using Excel for everything, from running your finance to your clocking time ins and timeouts and everything on an Excel. Then moving that to actually a system of record kind of tools that allow you to use that allow you to automate that process. That's one level. The next level is taking it and making it available no matter where you are in the world.
Okay, so you're saying access as a number two, and the first one just being the actual tool. Speaking to your first point, one of my staff members, the way that they described it was, Shiraz, man, Zoho One, it's like you gave me a power tool. All I had to do was finally plug it in. And it's the difference between having a screwdriver and having a drill, zoom, zoom, and you're in, right? Versus the manual crank. Hey, why is there an aversion to letting go of the rhythms that we are accustomed to versus knowing that all we really have to do is plug it in? Generally speaking, when you have people saying, yeah, Zoho One, great idea, not yet, what generally tends to be the aversion?
Again, people are used to their tools. For example, one of the things that you see, one of the hardest things to remove from a business is the dependence on Excel. A lot of macros out there, tons of things going on in an Excel. It's probably Zoho One's #1 competition, right? It's an Excel because it can do anything and everything. You write a macro, you are a guru in Excel, you can get so many things done. A great, powerful tool, but it won't cut. I mean, we are not at a point where you could afford to do everything on your desktop. It really doesn't cut it. And then also the ability to share the information across the organization, to do insights on top of that. I mean, there's so many layers that are coming on, because today, just having a system of record, just having an Excel to run a business won't cut it, because you need to analyze the data points. You need to connect different parts of your business to look at and get 360-degree insights within your business.
Okay, so I'm going to get a little tighter here in scope when it comes to Zoho One. 3 reasons, tangible and practical, why I'm jumping on board.
Simply because it has everything that you need to run your business.
Okay, so now I'm going to challenge you here, LSP. We're not here to play cute, right? We're not here to sound like all these. I want to get very specific. I am a small business owner, as you're aware. Okay, we had a conversation about a year and a half ago. We met through different circles and we just connected. Okay, fantastic. Hey, let's give this thing a try. All right, 3 reasons specifically why I should take on. So not the fun speak, but practical, tactical.
Because Zoho One allows you to grow along with your business. You don't have to use every part of what Zoho One offers you. You don't have to overwhelm yourself. If all that you need is a simple website building tool and then a marketing presence for you, you can just use the marketing applications that are bundled with Zoho One. If you are someone in sales like yourself, we had this conversation about begin. We just set it up. It had the telephony. You could just do everything that you wanted to do, that you were looking to do, and then it was not rocket science. And we didn't expect you to open up all the 50 applications that Zoho One has for you to just use that CRM piece. You
okay,
just
so I just
go
want
and-
to jump. I want to jump on that number two. Is sometimes there's a hesitation that creates limitations in one's life or one's business process and flow, and we don't want to innovate to create new work and new learnings. I'm comfortable with Excel. And listen, if you're listening in right now and you're tuning in, I guarantee you have an Excel sheet that you're having a hard time letting go of. I have one or two of those in my closet too, right? I think all of us have that dependency on what you can control. Okay, so that's fair. Now, I thought that moving to Zoho One would have been a challenge and a problem, because am I really going to learn and then learn to do it well?
The change management is going to be a challenge regardless. Even if you're moving from, let's say, Excel to Apple Keynotes or any other similar tool, like let's say Google Sheets, it's not going to be easy because you are used to something that you've been using. But like the change management aspect is something that goes beyond what any software vendor can promise to solve.
Fair.
Change management is a cultural thing. It needs to happen within the organization. It's like this, right? We have this saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's similar thing. When the company is ready, the tool appears, and you know what to do with the tool that you need to automate your business and optimize your business.
Okay, so nobody can really say they saw this coming. Oh yes, we knew there would be this lifestyle cliff that we're all just going to jump off of, and then all of a sudden we're going to be having to wear these things. And yes, okay.
Nuclear winter.
From your survey, what are you seeing as far as signs about sentiment and what that means for what could potentially be coming in the next 6 to 10 to 12 months?
Okay, couple of things. One thing that we tried to analyze was the remote work and the hybrid work models. So how many businesses are actually ready to just have a complete work from home models, or and if someone is actually maintaining a healthy mix of coming to the office and the work from home model, do they intend to continue that forever? Right. So these are some of the things that we want to understand the work style itself. So what we found was a good 44% of the respondents said they actually are going to continue with the hybrid model. About 29%, they are not sure. Actually, at 29% are saying no, they are not going to continue the hybrid model. They want their people to go back to work. And then about 27% are saying they're unsure. So this is something that was interesting, because I had expected I was engaged in this whole survey process in terms of defining it and everything. I was kind of surprised that people would actually be averse to a hybrid model. I did actually anticipate that people will do away with the work from home model, but even there, the response has been interesting. About 40% are saying they will have a complete work from home model if given the choice. And then a good 36% are saying no work from home. I actually thought that a lot of companies will kind of tilt in favor of hybrid model, and they would kind of despise the work from home model. But interestingly, the survey has kind of given a different response. Where they're more open to a hybrid model than a fully work from home model.
Okay. So you're saying that it's not about all. You're saying people aren't going all in with all remote.
Yep.
So a hybrid model. Okay, that's interesting. And what insights have you gleaned from that response to say, okay, this is probably why? Now, I guess I'm asking you to extrapolate your own data. Yep. And from your ancillary conversations that have happened, what is that looking like? Why are people feeling like a hybrid model might be the wave of the future versus all in or all at home?
I can talk about that in my own personal experience, right? I actually like the hybrid model. The reason I say that is, today we have all the tools we have discovered in the last 12 months. You can be wherever you are on the planet to get work done. There's been tremendous productivity gains because you could focus on what you were doing. But at the same time, what I kind of feel, again, being in the industry for about 20 years now, Shiraz, is the process of learning via osmosis is something that's completely missing. Because if I am a developer or if I am a marketing guy, that's the only thing I'm doing working from home. I'm not, even if I chat with my friends and colleagues in other departments, it's more becoming a more personal conversation. But from a business context, you're not in a place where you're looking at what the support team is dealing with, what the sales team is dealing with. That whole idea of learning through the process of hearing and having these conversations, that is something that I really miss, because today I really have to make a whole lot more effort to get that information and then process it and so on. And also, we have seen this whole mental health angle coming in, where work from home actually has been detrimental for a lot of individuals. So the social interactions that they have, the ability to express themselves has been limited within these environments. So kind of a jailbreak. I'll work from home for 2 days a week, 3 days from the office, kind of gives you that right balance. And yeah, you cut down on your commute, get to spend more time with your family. And you also, when you get to work, you're not pressurized to say, hey, you know what, I have to stay here the whole day. I just want to spend 2 hours at work, and then I want to drive back home and work for the rest of the day, right? You can have this mix and match, which I think is making it, to me, it's compelling. And I would think I would extrapolate myself, extrapolate this whole personal feeling out there and say, I think that's what everybody feels.
It's let's just stay on this specific angle here for a moment. So, and it's not being spoken about a lot, because right now remote work has been represented as we remained productive and we were able to remain and maintain our deliverables.
What?
And so when measured in a silo and in one vein of productivity and the activity that goes into productivity, okay, great. But as humans, we're designed to be social. And in as much as we have great collaborative tools, you and I know that you and I right here, it's great. It's, because we have a connection, a relationship, we can have a great conversation, but it would be completely different in person. And so what I'm hearing is the voice of the social aspect and element of what it means to bake that into the concept of work can no longer be ignored.
Absolutely not. I mean, I feel it. By the way, I went out to my first event in the last 20 months. I'm someone who travels a lot on doing events for Zoho, as being an evangelist for Zoho. 17th and 18th, 16th and 17th and 18th of November, I was over in Ottawa for a SaaS North event. And the whole idea was, it's the first time in 20 months, you just had to see the engagement. People were wanting to speak to each other. I've not had such a meaningful engagement at an event where people were really genuine. And it almost felt, in fact, I was sharing this with my colleagues, it's almost like, people wanted to talk. No, in fact, people said no to the swags that we got out there. They just wanted to come and talk to us and know about Zoho. They want to talk about their business. People actually said, no, I don't care about this swag. I mean, like, how many times does this happen? You have an event, you have your swags out. People are coming out just to get the swag.
Wow.
Again, it's just like everybody found it so refreshing. And I found it refreshing being out there talking to people after 20 months. It feels like it felt so nice, right?
Fantastic.
And I would say, the same thing at work. I'm dying to go meet my colleagues in the office who haven't seen in the last 20 months, because I used to travel to Austin. I used to travel to India. I just missed that, right? The whole idea of being with them and talking to them and, this whole interaction part.
This is fantastic, because what is not being spoken about enough from a business perspective is the human condition and our ability. How are folks living a more convenient lifestyle by working from home, but still the amount of burnout is increasing? They don't have to deal with traffic. They don't have to deal with where do they go for lunch in a limited amount of time to get their lunch. There's a lot of elements that we don't have to deal with, and yet burnout is increasing. Okay, so I love what you're saying about this hybrid model. Now, where does that fit in then with a productivity tool that allows you to be anywhere? Are we promoting then a tool that says stay at home, or are we promoting a tool that allows for flexibility?
It's flexibility. It's purely flexibility, because you still need this tool even if you went to work, because a host of your colleagues would be working from home. So you're not going to go to the office the same day at the same time. So you still need to have that flexibility. I need to be able to access the collaboration, the platform that I'm collaborating with the rest of the company to be available no matter where I am. So it's the flexibility.
Okay. So going back to the survey then, what else jumped out for you that we as a community of small and medium-sized businesses should be acutely aware of? What's another element that popped out?
It's the number of business applications that these businesses are running. So one of the things that we tried to understand was how many business applications are you running in your organization? So between 11 and 20, between more than 10 applications, if you actually add up that number here, you're looking at 13 plus 10 plus 30. 13 plus 10, 23 plus 50, more than 50% of the businesses are using north of 10 business applications to run their business. Again, mid-sized businesses, right? So they're using so many different applications to run their business, to automate and optimize their business. That was one thing that we wanted to understand. Another thing was, there's been a lot of talk in the small and large enterprises about low-code tools, how prevalent they are and what are they doing. Because at the end of the day, buying a commercial off-the-shelf product to run your business, it will have its limits at some point because you need more flexibility, because your processes as you grow as a business are going to change. As you try to launch a new product or a new service, there might be certain limitations. So to overcome that, this whole idea of using low-code tools has been pretty big, where either for internal consumption.
Sorry, LSP, we got to rewind here. Low code. Can you speak to me in a way where I'm going to understand? And folks, don't make me feel like I'm the only one that doesn't know what low code is. All right. So if you don't know what low code is, just like send me a note saying, Shiraz, I'm with you. Okay. We're not all smart people from San Francisco like LSP. Can you break down what low code means?
So low code is basically giving a citizen developer, let's say Shiraz wants to develop an application. He knows his business workflow inside out, but he sees that, hey, there are certain aspects within the tools that I'm using. I have a limitation. I need to build something very simple, but there's no one out there who's going to make this tool for me. So what do? You get into a low-code tool. It gives you a nice drag and drop interface. It allows you to build an application with a database, and then you start using it. It's like the whole database, the back end and the front end, everything is going to be given to you in a form of a nice looking wizard or a studio where you basically design. It's like creating artwork, right? I give you the canvas, I give you the paint, I give you the brushes, and Shiraz brings up his masterpiece.
So what I'm hearing is you build the power of the tool, but then you give me a paint by the numbers little piece of paper, and I get to customize your tool to make it fit my business. Is this what I'm hearing?
Two aspects. There is one where it allows you to create extensions to the products that we give you, or you can build your own custom application. Let's say you want to build as a part of one of the things that you do, your side hustle. Let's say you want to do a fundraising, you want to do a donation management system. Where are you going to go find, and are you going to pay money to, like you may still want to, buy an application, but you know what? You know how simple the workflow is. Just some data coming in, some forms, some database, and then you just do some analysis on top of that, and then the money hits your charity or whatever.
All right.
So how simple can that be?
Let me represent myself as a common business owner, which I am. And what I'm hearing is making me feel a little overwhelmed, right? It's like, someone sitting in your seat can say, oh yeah, just click and then you're there. How can you help me grow in my confidence that I can actually pull this off and move forward from a process into progress on my path towards achieving what I believe that I can walk in.
Okay.
Now,
good. I mean, like, I like the way you bring it. You're trying to break this down. Yes, sitting where I am and talking about low code, this is what I do daily for my bread and butter. But really, the idea is just giving you, like I said, it's me giving you a canvas, giving you the colors, and you just put things together the way you want, right? I mean, everybody is digital native today. If I give you, for example, you go into a mail editor, you know how to format, you know how to change the color of the text, you know how to insert a link. So just imagine a toolkit like that, where you just drag and drop things and it creates an application, right? And then what the low-code tool does is it creates a database behind the scene. It was also creating the user interface. You are no longer dependent on a IT or developer to create this application. It's just as simple as I make it sound, because that's how simple low-code tools are. And what does it allow you to do? It really allows you to kind of have a jailbreak, because if you have limitation within the tools that you're using, you can start using low-code tools to create your own application.
Fantastic. Now, and thank you, LSP folks. This is LSP from Zoho. Not only is he, as you can tell, well-informed and educated and plugged in, his years of experience cause him and allow him to speak into situations, but more so speak into the processes of your business to see what they can do to help you grow effectively and scale with you. Now, you'll have the opportunity at the end of our conversation. We'll share their contact information. You'll be able to be in touch with them. But another element that popped out to me from your survey, now, we're recording this conversation. We're end of 2021 right now. We're recording this conversation. And what I found fascinating, and it was encouraging to hear that north of 80% of medium-sized businesses, their sentiment towards the possibilities and capabilities that 2022 represents, and they're feeling pretty good about it. Sentiment is high.
Yep, it is. It is. I think just surviving and adapting through this phase is giving them that hope that the better is at them. They're staring at something that's better than what they've been dealing with. I think just going through this process, it's not broken them, it's only made them stronger. All of us, right? I mean, it's just not businesses. As humans, as collectively, as society, we have gotten to a point where we have not been broken, we are just being made stronger. And obviously, we are only hopeful for the better to come.
Thank you, LSP, for the role that you play in that process and what Zoho brings to the table and represents. There's one last thought that I want you to chat through is, okay, so I challenged you earlier, like, hey, can you just break it down what low code means, and can you just speak layman terms, meaning to my mind and just the average person. I know that I'm ready. I think that I need to do something else because I feel kind of like I'm just going through the motions. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not getting the results that I'm after. So now I started investigating the concept of automation. What should I automate? Like, do I reproduce myself? And there's another Shiraz. Like, what does it mean to automate, and what should I consider automating for a second, third?
I think it's just basically a very basic. I mean, you're asking this question, and then the guy who wants to answer from within is the developer in me, because that's how I started my life in this business.
Okay.
You can automate what is repeatable. What is not repeatable are things that humans or something that needs to be done manually, right? Anything that is repeatable, anything that has a pattern where you have to do things time over and over and again, you know what? That is what you got to automate. Something like, let's kind of put that in the context of a business, right? Anybody and everybody who's making anything, anybody who's in business is in sales. That's all they are there for. You have a product or a service, sales is what you think about sales. So the minute you have a lead, you are nurturing them. You send them emails, you call them, you set up meetings, you do requirement analysis. This is something that you would repeat for every lead that comes into your system, right? That comes to you. So that whole process, okay, who gets the okay, the lead comes in, you're saying, hey, this lead is in Quebec, so this needs to be assigned to LSP. This lead is in Greater Toronto area, it needs to go to Shiraz. And then whatever the processes are for nurturing within the business, you can define them within the context of the CRM system. So that's what it is. So automate what is repeating within the business. And then also something that can have a process where human intervention is not necessarily mandatory. Okay, yes, when you create a meeting, you say, hey, my lead nurturing process, I get the lead, I have to call them. So someone is calling them, it's Shiraz, but then Shiraz doesn't have to maintain a phone book or a notebook to say, hey, I need to call XYZ at a certain time. So that is going to be assigned by the system to you. The system says, hey, this is a lead in Toronto, it goes to Shiraz. Right? Otherwise,
so folks, as business owners and leaders in your organization, if there are still elements that you're paying someone to do that are robotic, repetitious, and rhythmic, that's your opportunity to engage. Engage a process that can help you automate your processes. That will lead to the progress that you can now free up those resources to push the envelope and grow, to create something from new, and maybe not invent, but perhaps innovate what is currently happening. But if you continue to pay talented people in your organization to undertake activities blindfolded and with their eyes closed because they've been doing it over and over, that is a huge sign that you're holding back your organization by not investigating automation. Is that fair to say, LSP?
In violent agreements. I can't get more violent in agreement with that one, Shiraz. But yeah, very beautifully put. I think the way you, captured that essence of, making more of the human resource, because you're pushing the envelope, right? What can be repeated? What is repetitious? It's boring for them to do it. You're not challenging them. Get them to do something that's more interesting. Get them to the next level within the organization. So many different aspects that come along when you just put something as simple as automation.
So automation actually doesn't eliminate human involvement. It actually activates human input, because now we can deploy assets, our human assets, in ways that grow your organization instead of maintain. Fascinating.
Absolutely. It elevates the human in the organization. It takes them to the next level. It's really elevating the human to do something that's bigger, pushing the envelope. It's activation and elevation.
You've mentioned the term jailbreak. This literally could be another jailbreak. You're literally unleashing and releasing the power of what your staff can really provide to your organization.
Absolutely. 100%.
LSP, once again, and as always, what a captivating conversation. Thank you for lifting our minds, causing us to think about things that we perhaps should be thinking about. And thank you to Zoho for undertaking this survey. Folks, you want to find this information out. And LSP, if you can just share with us, how will people find and where can they, dig into the results of this survey?
Oh, this is a dashboard. This is this whole analysis that we have done that we're going to share with you. And when you have this, published in the magazine, or whenever this is going to be on your website for the podcast is going to be released, they can access the link that they can go to and look at what's going on and take a deep dive into the things that we have discussed from a survey perspective.
Perfect. So we're not talking about a CRM. Zoho is more than that. It's a business management system, a category of one. And it's Zoho. They're the only ones that are in there. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making the time. And as always, we are here to lift the small and medium enterprise community in Canada. Thank you again, LSP.
Thank you so much, Shiraz, for having me on the show.
Wow. The idea that everyone isn't by default all in with remote work is fascinating. That a hybrid model might be a healthier solution in the long run. That needs to be discussed more. You can feel his passion for his role in the services at Zoho. To connect with LSP and find out more about their full line of low-code offerings, visit zoho.com. Please share this video and check out our other episodes, and don't forget to subscribe to our magazine and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Until next time, stay ready, empowered, and excited. Your work will be worth it.